Hi everyone, I hope everyone is good. I didn't plan to actually do this video. As you can see, I'm not shooting a podcast or anything, but something has been driving me, and I want to actually make my point when it comes to this. I didn't want to make this comment, but I think it's something to be said. The current situation that is going on in South Africa with regards to gender-based violence in general, right? We saw the Sbusiso Lawrence case and Nontobeko Cele, condolences to the family. We saw that. And then there's another case that is happening now. So it's the usual stuff actually in South Africa, because gender-based violence in South Africa is very big, and all the time, the reason I'm making this video is actually because of this. All the time when these circumstances happen in South Africa, we react, it's the same thing all over again. We react the same way, right? We bash the man, which I always feel is justified and reasonable. We say they belong to jail and we take them to jail. They even deserve death, actually. And I think it's reasonable for society to have that reaction and say these men who are killing women and what's not. Very much reasonable. They deserve death. There's nothing less I think they deserve. They should be jailed. I fully agree with that. The men who perpetuates gender-based violence and who are being violent to their partners. I agree with that, 100%. But then the issue that I'm having here, that I always feel like is never addressed, all the time, is never addressed. We always look at this from one perspective and is never addressed, is the contribution of women towards gender-based violence. What are they doing towards gender-based violence? What are they... Because right now, how it sounds like, it always feels like women are 100% innocent and not responsible by anyhow. It's just men who are crazy, and all the time these men actually are the one who are just wrong all the time. It's just that, it's almost like all the men who do these things, they're just crazy. Men are just crazy, all the time. That's how it feels like. So where I want to go with this, okay, is that things that men do to women in regards to violence, gender-based violence, or abuse towards women, they are prosecutable by law, and society will judge you on those things. You beat up your wife, we will come for you. You kill your wife, we will come for you, right? So these are usually things that men would do to violate women, right? And they are very much prosecutable by law. But also, there are things that women do towards men, which I think also are a form of abuse, right? But then these things then, on the other side, are not really prosecutable by law. At best, you can try, but it's very hard to prove them or prosecute them within law, right? As a matter of fact, even in society, how they are weighted is not the same. So for an example, a woman can manipulate you, right? Make you believe that they love you. Take your money in the process, right? While you believing them that they love you. Make you lie to you and make you raise their kid, for an example, right? That you believe or think is your kid. They can do that, right? They can do all these things to you. And there's just no punishment or repercussion by society nor the law, right? That's the thing. There is none, zero. There's nothing that you can do, right? It's almost like all the time you are asked to be a stone, not a wall, and not feel anything when those things happen. All the time in society, that's how it feels like. So manipulation, lying, taking your money in the pretense that they love you and they want to build with you, whatever that they do is not prosecutable by law, bro. Only things that men do are really prosecutable by law. Even if you see, for the most part, usually in most societies or relationships, you find that the man is working maybe, right? Or maybe the woman is not, even if she's working, because that's how women date anyway. They date up, they don't date down. Only men usually dates down, right? So a man usually would have more money than a woman. And when the relationship ends, she takes half, right? Sometimes rightfully, sometimes not rightfully. Right? So if you leave, for example, your wife and you cheat and what's not, she will take half of your things, right? And sometimes even if the relationship is ending, right, and people are ending their relationship, I mean, look at, for example, black coffee. You don't just pay child support. A man would even have to pay for the lifestyle they got a woman accustomed to, right? These are things that the court would add on, right? Meanwhile, on the other side, women do not have to deal with that, bro. And I think for the most part, this is where some of the biggest issue happens, that there's a tendency that women are not held accountable for anything. Yeah, because of that, for the most part, because you can't do anything if your wife cheats on you, right? And you divorce, she takes half of it, that shit, right? She takes the kids and whatnot. Like, you cannot, right? There's so many things that you have to face and deal with, and we just don't want to talk about it in this light, you know. And I feel like these things that happen at the background, and men not having a solution for them, like you can't just go and ask the court to tell your wife to pay all the money you've given her or invested into her, right? You just have to accept and take the bullet. The fact that you raised a kid and now they are 10 years old, only then you are finding out they're not your kid. There's nothing you can do about these things. Usually that's just it about you. You take your L and that's it. And I feel like these type of things are very much central to the gender-based violence that we are facing as a country. So if we want to address gender-based violence, we should look at it at its fullest. Because right now we are doing the same thing. We always go back to the square one, right? Which is, the man again just did something wrong. Which is also, guys, don't get me wrong, by the way, justifiable. But we are always doing it. Men are always held accountable. For anything, you beat your wife, we are here for you. All the time. When you do this, we are here for you. Accountable all the time. But ladies are never accounting, bro. Like, and I just, you know, I know people probably gonna bash this video, but someone has to say it out loud, bro. Women are never accountable for anything in relationships. Whatever negative they do, they just don't account. That's the thing. They just never account. So then if you're not gonna have accountability for women or find places to have women to account, I think you're going to have problems. And I don't think this is going to end. I feel like as a country or as a society, we are always going to have this. Because if someone can lie to me, manipulate me for 10 years, basically that's my life. Like, mess up my whole life and there is no accountability and there is nothing I can do. And someone is just being told, move on and what's not. I think that's where you're going to have these issues, you know. Not everyone is the same. I've faced hardships in relationships. Actually, I'm one of the men bruh, I've taken L's, bruh. But obviously, we are not the same, you know. I didn't act violently toward those people and whatnot. It is what it is. I took it. I took my L like a man, bro, and I moved on, you know. And I know better. Like, come on, bro, I know better. And I always feel like if a woman was to leave me, I'm much more of a value that she's gonna need anyway. So I know better. But not everyone knows better, bro. Not everyone knows better. So I think like there should be some level of accountability that our sisters should be placed in, so that everyone can have like some sort of fairness, if there's something like that. Because my issue is, it's not even for men. I don't want to talk for men per se, but for women's sake too, bruh. For women's sake too. Bruh, women will date, bruh, like, ladies, sometimes you date a guy that I'm a man and I'm afraid of your boyfriend. And you cheat on him? The fuck, bruh? Like, a woman is dating a guy that I am a guy and I'm afraid of him. Because I see that, bruh, if I was to cross this guy, he'll fuck me up. And you cheat on him. Like, bro, this just is. You know, that's how I feel about it. It's like, bro, I know your boyfriend will mess me up. I wouldn't want to cross path with that nigga anyhow. I don't want to rub him the wrong way. I can tell this is the motherfucker. And you date him and you cheat on him. You know, some things, it's like that. You know, it's like, you also need to take responsibility too. You know, because the reason I keep pointing out to this issue towards women is because for men, we already hold them accountable. Oh, those ones I know. They are going to jail. And when they get in jail, they're going to get violated by other men for the things that they did to you. We hold men accountable for sure. You know, they deserve death too. We hold men accountable for sure. They fuck up true. And all the time they abuse women true. And we hold them accountable. But when are we holding our women accountable? I think that's my issue, but I think this is beginning to wind me off. Like, when are you being accountable? Because you cheat on your man, you lie, you manipulate, you take his money. You know you don't love this guy. You know you don't love this guy, you love someone else. So when are ladies held accountable? I think that's where my issue is. When are ladies held accountable? You know? And I didn't want to talk about this because when I see some of the things, I mean, not to say, by the way, all the issues of gender-based violence, women were wrong or something. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to enlighten this issue that we are not, when people are arguing too, I don't think anyone in their right mind is arguing that, for an example, that if killing someone is justifiable. I don't think this is an argument. I think society agrees fully that men who did these things should be like fucking, punished as the highest possible. We hold them accountable. And we say we come at them as a society. We bash them. We do everything we can. In some cases, actually, they get killed by communities, which I think is fair. That's accounting. But when are women ever held accountable? When? You can't take someone's life for a ride, bro. You cannot. You take someone's life, you make them raise a kid you know is not theirs. You make someone raise that kid. Especially in a case whereby someone doesn't even say that, that's not your kid. At least say it and then make me choose. But then you make someone raise a kid that is not theirs. For years, they raise those kids. And then they are 16 years old, they find out that is not their kid. 12, they find out that's not their kid. 10 years later, it's not my kid. How? Like, bruh, at some point, women will have to account too. They have to account. Because if society doesn't create spaces for men to go and get women to account lawfully, and then you're gonna have these murders and gender-based violence going on all over the country forever. We are always gonna face them. We are always gonna face them because it's like we're using the same solution. We are back to square one where we started all the time. Oh, men, this and this. Same thing. We always do that. Men are already held accountable. I don't think this is an issue. These ones are men already. We got them. We make sure they account as a society, in law, or as a community, in social media, everywhere. We make sure. But there is this other side that's never accounts, and I think this is an issue. I feel like there should be a way to hold a partner accountable for these type of things. People will always lie, but your lie shouldn't change the path of my life or affects me to that extent. Something has to be done with that. Because manipulation and emotional abuse is a way of women to violate men too. Because women violate men too. So it's a way that they use to violate men. Just because women usually cannot beat up men and what's not physically, doesn't mean they don't violate too. They do. And actually, as a matter of fact, women always beat men. It's just that it's not significant because I can always defend myself, for an example, against a woman. It's easier to defend yourself as a man, So that's not the issue. But the issue is the emotional abuse and manipulation that women will do and puts men through for years and then never accounts. You're always going to find yourself here, bruh. Like, that's all I'm saying. We are always going to find ourselves here. And look, it's Christmas, it's December time, we're going to Christmas, enjoy our holidays, and we have to address these things, They're always going to be there, but we are doing the same thing. We are bashing the guy, we are all the time, There should be accountability, bruh. There should be accountability. As I said, ladies, you date a guy that as a guy, I am afraid of that guy. For whatever reason, maybe I see, if I was to have a problem with this guy, I'm going to have a lot of issues to deal with. This is not the type of guy I want to cross path with. And you cheat on him. Like, the fuck, bro? Like, bro, you cheat on that guy? Like, I am a guy, and I wouldn't like to cross that nigga. And you cheat on him. Type of thing. Bruh, accountability and responsibility, bruh. It's not all rights and rights and rights. There are responsibilities that come with these rights. So that's how I felt about this issue. Because nobody, by the way, and I'm not promoting gender-based violence with this video. No one should have a right to lay a hand on a woman or kill someone. Nobody. But I don't think the problem is understanding that. Because as a society, we already addressed that. We already hold men accountable. We all do that all the time. And that's not an issue. We already have the guys accountable. But the other side, how? Yeah, that's all I'm saying.